got rid of all of my possessions in the UK. And I think between us we had 2 or 3 grand. And we took a one-way flight to Kenya. I don't know if you can see on the map, but we did a very long, complex journey around. I think we went to about 14 different countries over the next 3 years. And I ended up living in Zimbabwe. Just, that's how it happened. And I ended up being the caretaker of a permaculture farm. And I put a little permaculture flower in there to represent it. Do you know what happened is, the end place we got to is a place called Chimanimani, which is it's the edge of the world almost. You get to the most eastern part of Zimbabwe, and then there's a huge mountain range, and which is almost impossible to cross. The other side is Mozambique. I got there, and the last house on the road had a little sign on the wall, on the gate, saying cheese for sale. And I thought, oh wow, cheese, that sounds nice. I knocked on the door, guy let me in. I sat down in his kitchen, he gave me a slice of cheese, and I just had this feeling of, I've arrived. This is where I'm supposed to be. I just overwhelming. I'm not very intuitive like that, but I just had this sense of this is the place. And the guy sold me some cheese, and he was like, "You can go now." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Strange thing, isn't it? Later that day, I met someone else who introduced me to somebody else, who then told me this guy, Graham Metcalf was his name, was having to go away for some weeks, and he needed someone to look after his house. Which involved having 2 cows, milking them by hand, and making the cheese. I don't know how to make cheese. Graham taught me. And very, very sadly, a few months later, Graham had some real problems in his life. His wife had gone away, taken his kid to Cape Town. And sadly, he took his own life. So that was a very sad thing. I inherited his legacy. I was in his house, eating his cheese. And he wasn't there. And I slowly started to study the farm. And I thought, this is extraordinary. Everything is connected to everything else. It's this, I mean, I grew up on a farm, but this was like nothing that I'd seen. I've never in my life seen such a productive piece of land, really. It was 8 acres. What he was producing on it was just staggering. It was so abundant. There was a dam that was full of fish. If you wanted to eat lake bream for your lunch, you throw a line in the pond, you'd have one in a minute or 2. I mean, it was just crazy. Fruit trees, macadamia nuts, oyster nuts, you name it. Growing veg. He would even grow his own wheat and milled his own bread. I mean, it was awesome what he was doing. So I became a student